This man is Julius Robert Oppenheimer, but people often just call him Robert. He went through a trial, kind of like a courtroom drama, where they tried to ruin his reputation as a really important physicist of his time. Then there's another guy, Louis Strauss, who had his own trial to become something called the United States Minister of Commerce. Louis talked about how he first met Robert. So Robert's story goes like this. He became super famous because he was really good at physics. It all started when he was studying physics in Germany. He figured out he was really passionate about it and super smart, like a genius or something. He started working on this cool new theory called quantum mechanics. After a lot of studying, he felt like he knew everything about quantum mechanics and physics. So he got a job teaching at a college in the Netherlands. That's where he met Israel Isaac Rabi, who introduced him to a famous physicist named Heisenberg in 1927. Robert got his PhD and became a professor at a college in the United States. He taught quantum mechanics, which wasn't common in the US at the time. He was also friends with another famous physicist named Ernest Lawrence. At first, he only had one student, but soon more and more students wanted to learn from him because he made the lessons super interesting. Lawrence invited Robert to dinner at an event, and Robert's brother Frank tagged along. At the event, Robert met Jean, who believed in communism. Over time, they grew closer and became romantically involved. But that wasn't the end of Robert's romantic escapades. He also got close to a woman named Kitty, and eventually married her, much to the disappointment of his friend James. Despite his marriage, Robert stayed in touch with Jean. The next day, Lawrence warned Robert about the Germans developing a powerful new bomb, and the possibility of Robert being spied on because of his past studies in Germany. Soon after, General Leslie Gross approached Robert with an offer to join the Manhattan Project. This project aimed to develop a bomb to rival the Germans' advancements, as America lagged behind in weaponry and faced the risk of losing to Germany in World War II. Robert accepted the offer and proposed creating 4 research labs in a remote location called Los Alamos. He suggested building a small town there for the workers and their families, ensuring they could stay for the long duration of the project. Los Alamos was chosen for its secrecy and distance from civilian settlements, ideal for testing the bomb without risk to the public. Leslie agreed to Robert's requests and promptly fulfilled them. As the project progressed, Robert, Leslie, and their team met with renowned physicists in America to recruit them. Some physicists hesitated due to the requirement of residing in a remote area for an extended period. However, with the urgency of winning World War II against the Germans, they reluctantly joined. Isaac, assigned to the Manhattan Project, harbored reservations about the potential catastrophic consequences, but duty to his country compelled his participation. The town was successfully established, and Robert, alongside other physicists, initiated the project. However, a miscalculation by physicist Edward Teller created confusion. Robert, suspecting Teller's error, sought assistance from Albert Einstein, who warned of the calculation's potential to cause atmospheric damage. Consequently, Robert invited Kitty and their children to join him in Los Alamos. Discussions ensued regarding the materials for the atomic bomb's core, with uranium and plutonium being considered for their explosive power, equivalent to 1,000 tons of TNT. Despite Teller's suggestion of using hydrogen for even greater explosive force, Robert opted for uranium and plutonium. Further deliberations focused on the trigger mechanism for initiating the core fusion and detonating the explosion. Shortly after, physicist Klaus Fuchs joined the Manhattan Project at Robert's invitation. This decision angered Leslie because of the project's secrecy. There were concerns about potential spies from Russia or Germany infiltrating their ranks. Acknowledging Leslie's valid concerns, Robert agreed and tasked Leslie with recruiting his younger brother Frank and their friend Lawrence. The following day, Lawrence and Frank joined the project. In the midst of their work, Robert clandestinely met Jean several times, unbeknownst to his wife Kitty. Their meetings often extended into the night. During a meeting, Robert's colleagues expressed pride in their work, emphasizing that they were not just creating a new weapon, but shaping history with a groundbreaking breakthrough. However, the project faced setbacks when Jean tragically took her own life, reportedly due to depression. Speculation arose that Jean might have been targeted by the government due to her communist beliefs, echoing fears about espionage. Jean's death deeply affected Robert, but he resolved to focus on the project. As the team encountered difficulties in their research, tensions rose among them. Teller's insistence on pursuing the hydrogen bomb further strained relations, leading some physicists to consider asking him to leave the project. Robert intervened, restructuring the team's tasks and appointing Fuchs to take over Teller's responsibilities. To appease Teller, Robert allowed him to conduct his own research, provided he attended weekly meetings. With the reorganization, progress on the atomic bomb accelerated. Leslie thought things were moving forward, so she asked Robert to finish making the bomb in July. Robert had said before that it would be done by September, but he had to agree to Leslie's request. At a meeting with officials and a military general, they talked about where to drop the bomb in Japan since the Nazis were already beaten. Originally, they planned to drop it on Tokyo, but that idea was rejected because it wouldn't cause enough damage. They decided to drop the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki instead, because these were important military cities for Japan. They believed it would cause many casualties and force Japan to surrender. Robert and his team worked hard to perfect the bomb. They planned to test it by dropping it from a tower. They prepared everything, including making smaller versions of the bomb for testing and setting up safe viewing points. They wanted to test the bomb at night to see the explosion clearly. Unfortunately, the weather was bad, so they had to postpone the test. Despite the delay, they continued to check the bomb regularly. When the rain stopped, they finally conducted the test. They monitored everything closely, especially the electric current, which could be dangerous if it changed suddenly. The test was successful, and everyone was relieved because they believed the bomb would help end the war. Everyone in Los Alamos praised Robert for his smart leadership in the research. The day after their test succeeded and they managed to make 2 big atomic bombs. They planned to drop them on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But Robert started feeling worried. He thought his invention might start another war between countries. On August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. The military was happy because America won, but scientists like Robert felt sad because innocent people got hurt. Robert became famous worldwide. He went to speak at an event, but he felt guilty for what happened in Japan. He even started to see things that weren't there. The next day, he met President Harry S. Truman. The president praised Robert's invention. He said it saved many American soldiers' lives. In their meeting, Robert told the president they needed to work together on atomic energy. He said Russia might try to make a stronger bomb. The president agreed to improve testing and making bombs in Los Alamos. But Robert still felt bad for making the bomb. The president got mad and said it didn't matter who made it, but who used it. That night, Robert found out one of his recruits, Klaus Fuchs, was a Russian spy. The FBI thought Robert might be a spy too. At another event, they announced how many people died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Robert felt really bad about himself. Then he met Teller, who told him something surprising. The atomic bomb didn't end World War II. Instead, it started a different kind of conflict between America and Russia called the Cold War. After Robert did a lot for his country, he started having lots of problems. One big problem was with Lewis. Lewis felt embarrassed because of something that happened during a trial about exporting atomic bomb materials. He thought Robert made Albert Einstein hate him. Lewis got really mad at Robert. So Lewis asked someone named William Borden to look into Robert's past. Robert had been friends with some Germans, and people accused him of being a Russian spy. Because of this, Robert had to go through a private trial. Lewis wanted someone named Roger Robb to make sure Robert lost the trial. During the trial, people found out that the atomic bomb affected Robert's feelings a lot. Also, Robert made some mistakes in the past, like choosing spies to work on projects and the death of his girlfriend. Even though Robert was cheating on her, Kitty still supported him. Finally, Robert stood up to the people in charge during the trial. Lewis thought he had a strong supporter named David, but David actually said many scientists didn't like Lewis. This made Lewis fail to become the Minister of Commerce. After many accusations, Robert was declared loyal to his country, but he couldn't work on the project anymore. This project was about making a hydrogen bomb, led by Teller. Even though he lost access to the project, Robert accepted it without complaining. In the end, people found out that Robert didn't make Einstein hate Lewis. They just talked about the math behind the atomic bomb, which could destroy the world. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Thank you.